Hello friends. Gosh, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's so nice to be back talking to you again on this beautiful winter's day. It's sunshiny and cool, and it's just glorious here today. I feel for everybody up north where it's hot, and I know there's a lot of fires going on at the moment as well, so my best wishes for everybody's health and safety with that. But I'm going to enjoy the cool weather while we have it, because summer comes along all too soon. It's a beautiful day here. We may be joined by a visitor at some point. My sister's cat is here at the moment, and I'm in her favourite spot. And yeah, she may come to reclaim it. So it'd be very nice to introduce you if that is the case. So yeah, it's I have a big video today because we have a lot to catch up on. So grab yourself a cuppa and your stitching, and yeah, it'll be really nice just to hang out. I have some new releases to show you, which I'm really excited about. I have a little bit of housekeeping to do first, and then we'll get on to the fun new things to show you. But yes, first of all, my name is Joanna. I am the designer behind Mojo Stitches. And this is my channel where I talk about stitchy stuff, and it's really nice to have you join me today. I hope you're having a really good, lovely stitchy time wherever you are. It has been a long while, and my apologies for that. It was not my intention to be away for this time. I think the last time we spoke was just after Needlework Marketplace last year, the big online trade thing for us cross-stitchy people, and with all the tariff stuff going on, and those of you who were here for that, you know, I'm not going to go into it again. Yeah, I'm so grateful to Bobby from Needlework Marketplace, who really stepped up and helped us overseas designers with all that nonsense going on. Yes, I'm afraid the stress of dealing with all of that and life in general, my health took a bit of a turn. I'm fine, but I just needed to take a step back from social media and the more public aspects of the business so that I could take care of myself better than I have been for a while. I came to the realization that my business is 6 years old, which is very exciting. But I realized at the beginning of the year, pretty sure I have worked every single day during that time. I worked through having COVID. I worked through everything. I worked every day. And I have, chronic illnesses, which means I can't always work as many hours as everybody, but I work all the time, and that is good. So I'm having to make some changes to better support my health and to make sure I don't get burnt out again, because to be honest, I got really burnt out and just stressed with everything going on, as I'm sure everybody is at the moment. So, and I want to be able to bring you fun stuff. So I took a little bit of time away, and now I'm back, and I've got happy things to share with you. So that's the deal. So first of all, a little bit of housekeeping. Yeah, I've been tossing up how to go about this, but I guess the easiest way, I am still continuing in business. I'm here by the skin of my teeth, but I'm going to have to make some changes. Some of those changes I'm ready to talk about. Some of them I'm still working on and will come forward a little bit later. But some of those changes mean that there'll be changes to where and how you can get my patterns, and hopefully find something that you want to stitch. Yeah, that involves, unfortunately, not being able to do Marketplace this year. I'm so grateful for the support of stores and it's been a real pleasure to be able to know that my patterns, you know, are in these stores all over the world. It's been a hard thing. It's you know, it's been hard. I was actually told by a very senior person in the industry when I first started that I would never succeed because I'm not in America. And to be honest, the way the kind of system is set up, it is very, very difficult. That's why there are so few overseas designers. Unfortunately, the current political situation in the US has made that infinitely worse. I won't go into details about tariffs and all that garbage. That's just saying the second lot of illegal tariffs are about to expire and they've just made up new rubbish to do. At this point, with all of that, the huge amount of extra work that it takes to ship something now, plus the additional shipping costs, and as an overseas designer, I carry most of the shipping costs. You know, it's not viable for me to continue at this time for lots of reasons. It's not something I can do, but my patterns will still be available to everybody. In fact, they will be more available to everybody more easily. That's the good news. So, bad news is I won't be at Marketplace this time. I'm hoping to be back in the future, but we will see what happens. The good news is my patterns will be available in hard copy and PDF coming out at the same time for everybody, accessible for everybody. And that makes me really happy because I know there are a lot of stitchers who have sight issues. I've even spoken with stitchers who have brain injuries and things that need to stitch from a PDF. And it's always been very frustrating to me that we've had to make those PDF stitches wait when a new thing comes out because the shops, you know, they want to sell the paper patterns and they don't want the PDFs at the same time. And I understand from their point of view, but this way, how I'm going to be doing it now and going forward, it means that everybody gets access to everything equally at the same time, and that is a good thing. So there are stitches all over the world. It's really nice to be able to serve those stitches, all of you, equally, no matter where you are. So the new releases I have to show you will be available from my Etsy store in hard copy and PDF, and they will come out the day this video comes up. Actually, I'm filming it the day before because I've got a lot to get ready. So they will come out the day this video comes out. The Cottage Garden Threads ones will be available from their website as well, and some other stores might pick up, you know, the odd chart afterwards, but for the most part, the wholesale part of my business will be taking a break. I'm hoping to be back, but yeah, as I said, the situation at the moment is just, it's too difficult for a single disabled person to manage on her own. So I thank you for your understanding, and I apologize to the shops that I can't, you know, I can't do at the moment. But of course you can always support your stores by buying materials, by buying threads and materials and, you know, linens and aiders and all sorts of good things. It's just, it's too difficult right now. Anyway, I shall move on. I'll get to showing you the new things in a minute. The other thing I have to announce is partly, oh, sorry, I need to lean. It's been a big few weeks. I'm sipping on some coffee here. I drink too much coffee. I know I shouldn't, but coffee's really good. Like, I know tea's better for you, but it's not coffee. I drink tea if I stop drinking coffee, but only when I stop drinking coffee. And I'm like, oh, I know I should, but it's very hard. So I've got my nice hot coffee here. I hope you've got something nice to drink as well. Let's see, what was I launching into? Yes, the other big stitching news I have for you is a little bit of a mini retreat recap, because I just finished a few weeks ago. We had the latest Stitching in the Mountains retreat, our winter one, and we had a lovely time in front of the fireplaces with so many lovely people, and a big hello to everybody who was there. It has been such a joy to bring stitches together and to really create that community. It's honestly, I feel so privileged to have been able to do that, and a big thank you to Lisa from Paddock Lane Designs, who co-ran them with me, and to our wonderful helpers. Big thank you to Alex from Little Cozy Props. I'll put her shop underneath. She made 50 project bags for our goodie bags. I think she deserves a medal. And a big thank you to our helpers as well, to Michelle and to Helen and to Heather, who really couldn't do the huge amount of work of just running the retreat without them, and I'm enormously grateful. So that being said, I'm having to take a step back from the retreats as well, at least from running them for a little while. I have pulled out. We had planned another one in December that I've had to pull out from. Lisa is going ahead running her own under a different name. I will put information about that if you would like to go. I'm sure it will be wonderful. She has a guest designer coming, Deb from Frog Cottage Designs, so that'll be really fun. And I'm kind of heartbroken to have to take a step back, but to be honest, running 2 retreats a year is a huge amount of work, and it takes a really big physical toll on me. To be honest, a 3-day retreat at the moment, it takes me months to recover from. I know that may not make sense to a lot of people, but it really has a huge toll. And as much as I love doing it, I need to kind of slow down on that for a little while, just because I have other things happening in my life and I really need to make sure I don't burn out again. So there will be more news about retreats and things like that coming up. I do have something booked in March, which I'm excited about to share with you soon. And I will be at Daisy Chain Stitches Retreat in September, coming up very close. Yeah, so I'll have more announcements about that going forward, and yeah, you'll see me around, but yeah, I need a little bit of a break. So that is Stitching in the Mountains, and yeah, I guess we should just get to the new releases. I mean, that's the fun bit, isn't it? I've got to remember how to do these videos, because to be honest, sitting and talking to a tablet in an empty room feels kind of odd, and it's been a while, so I have to remember how to do it. I'll get the hang of it back again, but so bear with me. But I want to show you pretty things, so let's do pretty things. Okay. Oh, I know what I should show you first. This doesn't count as one of the new releases. It's a bit of an extra. I was very honoured to be invited to create a piece for the current edition of Homespun Australia magazine. They have a new editor who is absolutely lovely, and she asked me to do a piece for her first edition, and I was really honoured to do that. Yeah, she asked to do something on a sense of place, and I love that because that's very much sort of where I like to design from. So I was thinking about what a sense of place means to me, and I was originally going to do a design that was based on a very specific place that I loved since I was a kid. And then I thought, yeah, but not everybody's been there. So I was thinking, well, what does a special place mean to me? And I was thinking through all of my favorite places, and the one thing they all have in common is they have a really magnificent tree. And so I thought, well, let's do a design that's based around a tree and how a tree creates its own sense of place and its own ecosystem and its own sort of wonder. So I created a design called Under the River Gum. That is this here. It's so hard to show you. Little pin pillows. I'm holding them upright like that. But this is Under the River Gum. And the river gums are these absolutely magnificent trees that grow, well, lots of places really, but they're particularly known for being along the Murray River. And I was thinking about how magnificent they are up on the riverbank. And I was thinking of all the plants and animals that live on or around them. And so this is a bird called an intermediate egret, which is kind of like a big heron that's sort of walking in the shallows underneath. And even the grass that I did there. There's a particular type, I think it's called the floating swamp wallaby grass that lives underneath the trees. And then I've got the Murray cod, the famous Murray cod that's swimming in the river that you can't see. And for me, the sound of summer is the sound of cicadas. And it was really interesting to find that a lot of green cicadas that I've done there actually use the river gums as part of their reproduction cycle. So we have some beautiful gum blossoms as well. So that's my little tribute to the sense of place that is a beautiful tree. So that is Under the River Gum. It is available in Homespun Australia magazine. You can get these. This to the June, July edition. So run out and grab it now. That's me in there. It is stitched on, what did I stitch it on? It's just a Zweigart. I think it's antique ivory. I can't remember. Yes, antique ivory, 32 count. Excuse me. And I used, of course, a Cottage Garden Threads palette for that because we need those Australian colours. I have thread packs available on my Etsy store, and I'm pretty sure Cottage Garden Threads does too. And there's a full DMC conversion, of course, as there are on all of my patterns. The chart is available in the magazine now, so go grab the magazine. I know it is available as well on those magazine apps. People tell me you can get the magazine there. I don't have those apps, so I don't know how they work, but I trust them that that's a thing. So you can get it digitally as well, which sounds great. I will be releasing the pattern in early December. September, not December. It's too far away. So that will be available then. But yeah, I just wanted to show you while it was still in the magazine because, yeah, I really enjoyed stitching this piece. It's a very quick and easy stitch. And I really enjoyed creating that beautiful little vignette that's kind of surrounded. I wanted to do it surrounded by what you'd see and hear and kind of feel by being there. So I look at it and I can hear cicadas. Anyway, I hope you enjoy stitching it. I'm going to have some more coffee. This winter sunlight is so beautiful. This is a very sunny spot. I don't normally get to sit here much, and it's really nice. I can see why the cat likes it so much. The other next piece I have to show you. Oh, I don't think I've shown you this on a video since I had my break from video. So, yes, for Nashville this year, Abby from Top Knot Stitcher did another X-Stitch the Rainbow what's the word? I've forgotten how to talk to people. It's sort of collaboration. So yes, a whole bunch of designers were asked to design a small piece using the same Cottage Garden Threads palette, and we were asked to do an Under the Sea theme. And yeah, I was asked to do this little piece, and this is called Seahorse Sway. And it was really fun to play with colours that I would not normally use. I mean, I love all the Cottage Garden threads, don't get me wrong, but it's really nice to be sort of challenged to do something that's a bit out of your comfort zone. So this is not a palette that I would have probably chosen myself, but I'm so pleased with how it came out. I had such fun doing this, and there's this beautiful colour, I forgot what it's called. I think is it? Oh, can't remember. It's on the pattern. Do I have the pattern? Yes, I do. I can look it up. It's called Citrus, and it's this fabulously yellowy pink colour here on the seahorses. And the way the variegation just moved as you stitched it up, it was just so much fun watching that happen. So yeah, that piece is available from all the stores that were in Nashville, from Abby Topnich, Top Knot Stitcher, and it's up on my Etsy store as well. Of course, if you buy the thread pack for that from Cottage Garden Threads, there's I think 20 different designers who all used it, so there's a whole bunch of different things you can stitch with the very same threads. So it's wonderful to see what everybody did. It was so exciting and really nice to be included, so that was fun. I'm a bit late showing you that one, but as I said, I needed a bit of a break, so I'm kind of catching up. And now I feel like I'm running too fast because I got too much to show you. And I don't even kind of know where to start with a lot of this, but there we go. I guess the next one to show you was also in a magazine. It was in Just Cross Stitch. Was it late last year or early this year? Is it just me, or has time gone slightly weird at the moment? I can't remember. Anyway, the design is called Hope is the Thing with Feathers. I think I showed you this for a video, so it must have been late last year. This was created for a little feature in Just Cross Stitch, which was a big honour. And it is based on a beautiful antique bib that I have in my collection. These beautiful little birds and kind of folk motifs was inspired by them and by the colour palette that is on this beautiful little bib as well. And so I created this piece for the magazine, and this is the first time it's kind of available on its own. It uses a Cottage Garden Threads palette that I have on the cover there, but it only uses 4 colours, so it'd be really, really easy to play around with and use your own favourite colour palette with it. Now, I have thread packs available, and I wanted to show you, in case you haven't seen, Cottage Garden Threads have been innovating as usual, and they're releasing their colours in 5 metre skeins now. They still have the big 10 metre ones, which are my favourite, but they've got 5 metre skeins now available. And they also have, where did I put it? They're also doing their colours in great big 50 metre skeins for if you're doing a, you know, a monochrome stitch or something. You've got a big thwack of thread there, and I was so excited to, I've only got a couple of these so far. Eventually I will have all of them up on my Etsy store, but it takes a while to build up. I was so excited to see them doing that and to just offer, you know, more choices in their beautiful threads. I also wanted to say a big thank you to Cottage Garden Threads, because they have really stepped up and been so supportive in these really difficult times, and I feel really honoured to be working with them. They have actually instituted a program where if you buy a thread pack from their website that's associated with one of my designs, I get a small commission off that, which is not something that they have to do, but they are doing to support designers, and I just feel like that's a really incredible thing. I just wanted to thank you for that. It's been a huge help through a very difficult time. So this is the thread pack for Hope is the Thing with Feathers, as I've done it, but I would love to see what colours you choose to do yours in, because yeah, this matches the original bib that I have, but it would be, I think you could do it in even different tones of the same colours. You could do it in reds or greens or blacks even. That'd be really interesting. Turn them into blackbirds. I wonder what you could do. I can't wait to see. So please do tag me in all your finishes and things, because I can't wait to see. I always love when people take my designs and make it their own. I think that's really exciting. To me, we're in a sort of a conversation and a collaboration, and I love it when you guys go and do your own things with it. So can't wait to see. That was really fun. Again, a really quick, easy stitch. That's just something fun to take up one afternoon. You can get done in no time. Oh, I should tell you as well, I just made little tassels on the corner for this. I will, again, when I can get myself organised, film a tutorial about how to do these. But there are plenty of things online about how to just make little tassels, and I just sewed them into the corner. I just thought it made a really cute little finish. Something simple and something a bit different. And they're just the leftover threads I had from stitching it. So, yeah, just something a little bit different. I like to keep my finishes fairly simple because I really like the stitching to shine. That's just my preferred style. So I like to try and find things that are a little bit different. So what else have I got to show you? Oh, the next one was also a retreat piece that I get to release, which is exciting. Last year for Daisy Chain. The lovely Teresa, who runs Daisy Chain, she has Daisy Chain Stitchery is her shop, and she also dyes fabric under Whoopsie Daisy Designs, and she does beautiful fabric. And it was I'm lucky enough to be the sort of returning designer for Daisy Chain, and it's a real highlight of my year. It's fun. But yes, I've got to come up with new Daisy related designs every year, so it's fun doing that. Last year I created a little drum because Teresa wanted a drum finish, and so I created this little drum that is called Pekolben in the Afternoon. Now Pekolben is where we have the retreat, and the venue is this beautiful old, I think it's an old church, up on a hill, because we're in the midst of all the vineyards and on these beautiful rolling hills under the sun where the friends get together. So that is the little, and we've got some daisies around the top. So that is the piece that I created for Daisy Chain last year, and people really, really liked that one. So even though you weren't at the retreat, I am hoping, some of you were, so hi. But those of you who weren't, I think it's a usable enough design that you can put your own memories onto it of times where you have spent happily with friends. And I'm hoping that is something that you will enjoy stitching. That is the full pattern there. And of course you could make it into a little pin pillow or even put it in a little frame. You don't need to make it into a drum. This does have full finishing instructions of how to make a drum though, as I included them in the retreat kit. So that does have full finishing instructions in it. So if you ever wanted to try a drum and you've been too scared, they're not as hard as they look, I promise. That's a really nice one to start. That's not too big and not too difficult. Again, this is done in cottage garden threads with a full DMC conversion. And it's a really quick little stitch that was super fun to do. And of course, you can customize it and make it your own by doing different skin colors, different hair colors, different dress colors, whatever you'd like. Yeah, I hope you enjoy stitching that one too. So that's Pekolben in the Afternoon. a Coleman amongst the vineyards. It's a beautiful spot. I'm so looking forward to going there again. It's about a month away. Oh, I better get a wriggle on. I'm working on the kits for the next one now. I'm not going to give you any hints. There are daisies involved. All I'm going to say. But yes, I'm pleased with this one. It's something quite different, and I'm looking forward to. Hopefully people will like it. It's a lovely opportunity to catch up with people and meet lots of new people, and yeah, Teresa does a wonderful retreat. So looking forward to that. So that's a new pattern. What else is a new pattern? I have more new patterns. Oh yeah, let's show you something. Oh, I know what I can show you. Speaking of sunshine and sunshininess, for the Stitching in the Mountains retreat that I was just at, we had a theme this time. I was thinking of doing something on the 5 senses. So we started off with scent, and I wanted to come up with a design that celebrated, you know, something that really I associated with, you know, with scent and with happy memories that are related to that. So I created a double design that I'm calling Oranges and Lemons. Now we've got a bit of a shadow here, but I'm hoping you can see that okay. That is oranges and that is lemons. Now I have memories of my great aunt, my grandmother's sister. Her name was Auntie Pam. And Auntie Pam, when we used to go and visit her when I was little, she had this beautiful kumquat tree, a topiary kumquat tree, in a big fancy pot right by her front door. And I remember thinking that was the height of sophistication. And and just every time so when I remember her, I remember the smell of the kumquats. And so for me, it's such a, I love how scents can evoke those memories. And so I wanted to create something that had a real citrus kind of feel to it, that was also sort of, again, quick and easy to stitch. These are actually stitched in DMC. I wanted to do some DMC patterns. So, because, you know, we all have lots of that at home, hopefully. And it's just a pleasure to see how it can be used in, you know, to create all sorts of things. So, this pattern, the double pattern, called Oranges and Lemons, it has a full Cottage Garden Threads conversion and a full overdye conversion. Now, it's not exactly the same as the DMC, but it's close. And so it just shows you how, so you can kind of pick and choose amongst what you have, or whatever your favorite threads are, you can use. I like to make things as open and versatile as possible. So these I just stitched on some little scraps of, what is it? I think it was Soft Ivory. Yep, just Soft Ivory by Zweigart. Any little scraps would do for that. Now, of course, these were stitched on 32 count. And you could, of course, stitch these on a higher count and make little pin pillows. And I think they would look beautiful. But I wanted to do this kind of finish. This is something that I do when I want to use a ready bait frame or an antique frame or something. I sew the design on just a scrap of fabric, and then as I come to finish it, I find some quilting fabric. I have a bit of a stash of quilting cottons that I pick up just because I love the colours and the patterns on them. So I go through my stash and find something that blends well with the design. I like something that's not too loud or too busy, because you don't want it to compete with the stitching. You want it to kind of enhance. So I just use this lovely sort of mustardy yellow sort of low volume fabric. I've got the name of it up on my blog, so if you want to find exactly the same fabric, I've got the name of it up there. So what I do is I take the stitched piece and I cut it down to, I think, about 1.5 centimeters, about a little over 1/2 inch from the stitched edge on each time. I know that's a bit scary to do once you stitch something, but I promise it's okay. You could also pull out a thread from each side if you want to cut it exactly as well. So, and then I just use some invisible sewing thread, so something like you'd use for English paper piecing, to stitch it directly onto the fabric. I just used a running stitch and stitched around all the edges. I don't know if you probably can't see it there because I just stitched there, just outside stitch edge, onto the fabric directly. And then I laced the fabric like you would lace your stitching, onto some foam board, and frame them up like that. Now for me, that's a really useful way of getting a ready-made frame. This is a very inexpensive frame, or a vintage frame or something where your stitch piece doesn't match exactly. It's a really good way of using something that you have without having to go to a lot of expense. So I framed both of them like that, and then once they were all laced up and framed, all I did was pull a couple of threads from each edge around the stitching just to give it a nice little frayed texture. That's not something you have to do, but I quite like the little bit of texture it gives. And it's sewn down quite strongly. It's quite secure. I think it's a really nice, simple way, an inexpensive way of finishing. So I hope that's something that you might want to try. Yeah, I really enjoyed these pieces. The lemon's got a little bee at the top and the bottom, and the orange has got a little dragonfly. Yeah, it's very simple, quick, easy stitches that just had nice memories for me. I thought these would look great in a kitchen or something, or maybe like as a housewarming gift. I think that would work really well. So yes, they, I believe Cottage Garden Threads is putting together a thread pack for those as well, so that would be really fun. And yeah, stitch in DMC too, like, or swap and match with what you have, and you know, you want to try out some new colors and use the rest for what you've got. So that's always an option. Now, my other scent design that was in the goodie bag, actually 2 designs, I will be releasing for daisy chain, so I will have some new things to show you for that as well. Now, I've got 3 more to show you. The next one is an antique reproduction that was really different. That I was writing up the blog pieces for this, and I was thinking, yeah, I really do spend quite a lot of time scrolling looking at antique samplers. Usually one's way out of my budget. There are a lot of very familiar motifs that come up. A lot of them look very similar, and you know, the differences between them in the individualities and everything are fascinating, but a lot of them are very similar once you've been looking at them for a while. So I'm always drawn to the ones that are a little bit quirky and a little bit different. So this one I found some time ago, and I've got the antique here to show you. And I just thought it was so different that it would be fun to do. So this is the antique I have here. I hope you can see it in the light. This is what I'm calling Make Happiness. The name of the stitcher is Eileen Elizabeth Mason, and it was done in 1923. So she's barely an antique, but I loved the simplicity of this and the softness of the palette, And I absolutely adored these flower pots down here. They just scream 1920s to me. The simplicity, the colours, it's just beautiful. So it has a simple alphabet at the top, some beautiful, simple little motifs. And then the writing, the sentiment says, happiness make your mornings bright and the peace of the fireside at night. And I'm like, I can vibe with that. So Eileen Elizabeth Mason, her work, February 3rd, 1923. So she's a bit shabby in this frame, but she's preserved quite well. And yeah, I thought it was beautiful. And it's actually signed by Mrs. Mason on the back. Now, I was looking into stitches with that name. Now, we don't have a place. It was from the UK, but I don't have any more information from the seller. So I couldn't pin down exactly who the stitcher was, because there were actually quite a few people with that name who were alive at the time of 1923. But I got the vibe from stitching this piece that this was someone who was interested in the tradition of samplers, because it's a very late sampler. You don't see a lot of original ones that are from that time. That's kind of when you were starting to get, maybe just before, but you're starting to get kind of pre-printed ones and ones that were more commercially available. You don't see a lot of original ones from that time. So it seemed to me someone who was interested in them and also had a real artistic eye, because those flower pots are quite unique. I've not seen them before. And that looked like something that she created herself. And so when I was looking through records trying to find Eileen, I found there was an Eileen Elizabeth Mason who was born in 1895. So she would have been 28 when she stitched this, if it was her. But her profession is listed as a silk embroiderer. So I'm wondering whether this was a piece she created and gifted to somebody from her love of stitching. And we can't ever know if it was her exactly, but I just thought that that's such a lovely way to think of these stitches that are so hard to pin down in the past. Anyway, this is the reproduction that I have done. I've taken the colour palette very, very closely from the original, and the fabric that I used is the beautiful number 12 Stitch Co. This one's 36 count silica. It's a kind of soft beigey pink. It's beautiful. I thought it went with the colour palette so beautifully. I was really inspired by doing this piece. So with the pattern, you not only get the antique reproduction, you also get a couple of little pin pillows that I designed that were inspired by it. Oh, we're losing some light here. I'll have to be quick. So I did one that is called Make Happiness, and another one that's called Be at Peace, because isn't that what we all need right now? And I love the idea that we make happiness with our stitching and that we make peace with our stitching. So I'm hoping they are something that you would like to stitch as well. Now, you get all three of those in the pattern. It's called Make Happiness. I have stitched them in a mix of Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colour Works, but full DMC conversion, of course. But most of the colours are used only in small amounts. So feel free to use whatever overdyes you have and then sub in DMC for the rest. I'm wondering if it was our silk embroiderer, whether she actually used leftover pieces from her work, and that's why there are so many colour changes and that kind of thing, I wonder. So it had such a beautiful soft palette, and it's such a cheerful thing. I really liked it. I hope you like it too. It's a bit different, but I hope you like it. Anyway, that's Make Happiness. Yeah, I really enjoyed. I so enjoy working with these antique pieces, and you feel like you get such a connection with the personality of the stitcher. Like, she felt like an artist to me. And where I think all the stitchers are artists, sometimes you get more of a sense than others. Yeah, anyway, perhaps I'm overthinking. Who knows? I better get on with it before I lose the light. We can't have that. So I have two more to show you. One is another antique reproduction. I haven't done a bird in a while, so I had to do another bird. And this is one that I've had lurking away for a little while. This is called When Flowers Bloom. Again, I'm losing the light here, so it's looking a little bit darker than it actually is. This was such fun to stitch. I think this is a cardinal. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe the colouring was a little off from the original stitcher, but it's got all those beautiful reds in it, and it's got that wonderful peak on its head. And I just love how it was surrounded by these beautiful, beautiful flowers. Now, I will show you the original because she came a little bit battered, and I have had to call this one an adaptation rather than a reproduction because I've had to make some changes. This is the antique original. Now, it was stitched. The background's fully stitched too, and none of us are going to do that, so I don't bother with that. Life's too short for that. And it was stitched on this interesting little shield shape that was then affixed to some velvet just on some card. It came to me like this without a frame or anything. I wonder, I have seen some of these shield shapes before. I'm wondering if it was like a little fire screen, because some of the Victorian ladies, if they were sitting too close to the fire, were worried that it would affect their complexion. So sometimes they'd have those fire screens to protect their delicate complexions. And I'm wondering if that's what it was. I'm not 100% sure. If you have any other ideas, let me know in the comments. I just thought this was such a happy little thing. I just really liked how the bird was just perched there so jauntily. Now, I did have to make some changes because I don't know if you can see. These two flowers here are beaded. Some of the beads are kind of like a milky glass, but the ones in the center are metal and they've rusted a lot. And so I can't tell what color they were originally. They've rusted and tarnished, and you really can't tell what color they were. So I've had to kind of make some design choices in that, which is why I'm calling it an adaptation. I have simplified the color palette a little. This has what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 19 colors in it. I have a word about that in a minute, so don't panic. I believe when I charted the original, it had nearly 40. So I have simplified it a little bit. Again, my philosophy in doing reproductions is we want to honour the past, but we also need to make it practical for stitchers today. And I don't think it's practical to expect you to use 40 colours for a fairly small piece. If you're doing a big height or something, go for it. But for a fairly small piece, I want to make it more practical. And also, it's just easier, and it makes the piece a little bit more harmonious when you harmonise the colour palette. So mine still contains the flavour of the original, but I've just made it a little bit more practical to stitch. Now, I have made those flowers, the beaded flowers, blue rather than the whites and the greys of the original, because I don't know that's what they were originally, and that just harmonised with the colour palette a little bit better. Now, these big roses here and on the side were originally mauve and purple. They always age to a kind of grey. Mauve was kind of like the last colour that was commercially sort of invented to dye with, and they always age in this kind of weird grey way. So that's why I've made them more purple here, because that's what they would have been originally. I had such fun stitching this one. I love my birds. I know a lot of you guys do too. I hope you enjoy stitching this one. Now I have a word about this pattern. Again, it does have quite a few colours, and I have done them in the over dyes, but a lot of them only use the colours in small amounts. So I highly recommend that you use whatever over dyes you have from the list in stash and sub in the rest with DMC. There's no need for you to buy 19 colours. I do them in the over dyes for those of you that have them, and for those of you that, you know, have a big stash and you want to use them up. So that's all great, but the full DMC conversion is there, and if you mix and match or do the whole thing in DMC, it will look just as great. So please don't feel like that would stop you from stitching it. It's always a bit of a push and pull with these very highly colourful designs of how to give it, you know, the flavour of the original, but still make it something that is, you know, practical to stitch. So I hope I've solved that for you, and I hope that encourages you, again, to, you know, use what you have and don't go overboard with it, because, like I said, a lot of the colours are only used in small amounts and would look just lovely in DMC. So that's When Flowers Bloom. I have a lot more birds I've been collecting over the years. So, yeah, it was nice to do just a little small one. The fabric I used for that, again, is, 32 count Russian Caramel by number 12 Stitch Co. This is one of my favourites. It's such a beautiful, rich caramel colour. It looks much lighter on the photo that I did, but it is quite a deep caramel. Now, I have seen some of my lovely stitchers at the retreat are already planning to do a stitch along with this, which I'm excited about, so keep an eye out for that. And I have seen the lovely Anna is perhaps thinking of doing this on a pink, so it'll be lovely to see what people do. So yeah, I hope you enjoy stitching that one. And last but not least is personally, I think, my favourite. I don't really want to say that in front of the other ones because, you know, they're all my favourite, but it's kind of my favourite. I had the idea for this one yonks ago, and I don't know, it's my way of kind of giving everyone a big hug. So the story is, I was stitching on this Quaker, and this little quokka just came along and photobombed it. So this is Quaker. And I know this is a little bit out on the edge for me, but I just had so much fun doing this. Quokkas, if you don't know, us Aussies all know, are often considered the world's happiest animal. They're just the cutest little things. They're a type of wallaby, so like a small relation to the kangaroo. And they just have real happy little faces. And they quite often photobomb tourists, and you get these photos of them just going, oh! And they're just the cutest things. And so I did a Quaker based on, they live on an island in Western Australia called Wanjamup, or Rottnest Island. Now, I've never had the pleasure to visit. I would love to go there one day. And these are some of the plants and animals that you'll find on the island, including the beautiful Wanjamup daisy, which is called the blue lace flower sometimes. And there's these beautiful birds as well called rainbow bee eaters that are just beautiful. But I just had so much fun stitching this, and I hope you feel hugged. That's all I can say. Anyway, this piece again uses cottage garden threads. I have thread packs of that as well. I have pre-sorted thread packs that have, you know, enough to stitch the piece with a little bit extra for frogging. But I also have thread packs of the new 5-meter skeins of all of them as well, which are just beautiful. And Cottage Garden Threads will have thread packs of those as well. And as I said before, if you buy a thread pack from them that's associated with one of my designs, they give me a small commission, which is incredibly generous of them. So Quacker Quaker. Maybe I like alliteration too much. I thought it was funny. Maybe I'm weird. Let's be honest, I am weird. That's okay. I really enjoyed this. I'm going to have to put it up somewhere so it can make me smile. I hope it makes you smile too. I hope you forgive me for being a little bit scattered and a little bit awkward. It's funny coming back to this after a little while, but I hope you've enjoyed seeing some new things. I hope you have got some stitching done while we're chatting, and I hope you'll come back and visit again soon, because I have more things to announce, more exciting things happening, and more new releases coming very soon. So thank you again for coming back to visit after all this time, and yeah, I hope to see you all soon. Bye.